So this here is an example of why I say tile roofs are total garbage. Try to get this on the camera. So first of all, you can clearly see these water stains, and these water stains all line up with the seams in the tiles. And if we look at a tile that we just took off, I'm going to try this one. You can see this. Yeah, you can clearly see this water stain. So it just rained last night and the water is just going right through the seams of the tiles. It sure doesn't help that on this roof, and I'm not sure if it can be done any other way because I've never installed one from new, but you can see all the seams in the tiles, they line up one right over the other all the way up the roof, which myself as a shingler, to me that just says something's wrong there, because there should be a stagger. Now the reason I'm here, I was here in the wintertime when there was about 1.5 feet of snow on this roof and she had a leak coming right into her house. Right where that window meets that gutter is right on the wall, and any water that goes behind that gutter, of course, goes right into the house. Now, we have a look here at how this edge strip was done. You can see, even just from the rain last night, it's wet, it's leaking. I mean, look at this huge water stain here. And you can see how long, maybe not with this light, this paper, this underlayment is just toasted. It's severely water damaged. So I think I'm gonna have to put my thinking cap on here and figure out what in the hell I'm gonna do to fix this. So I'm about to pull up this valley metal just to look underneath and make sure that there's no any other serious leaks going on here and that the metal doesn't need to be replaced. I did find a broken tile up around here somewhere that was causing quite a leak, so getting that replaced is going to help greatly. But just look at the amount of crap that gets in underneath these tiles. There is nothing to stop all of this moss, debris from the trees, and mud from getting up underneath here. Yeah, that's wild. So let's have a look underneath this metal. Oh, I missed a nail. Where's my nail puller? Probably missed another one. Okay, moment of truth. See what these boys got done here. Okay, so it's not bad. You can see the water trail from the broken tile. But I think everything else seems to be okay. I'm still seeing this water staining from, as far as I can tell, what is just a normal natural leaking of the tiles. There's that broken tile. Probably can't see any of this with this light, but yeah, so the problem really mostly just exists down at the edge of the roof, and the trick is going to be trying to find a way to stop the water from getting underneath this metal here and in behind the gutter here. So we'll see what we're going to do with it. So here we have what we call the ice and water shield. This is what's going to repair this roof from leaking, and this is what was missing in the first place. This is a self-adhesive membrane. You peel this plastic off, and this stuff's really, really sticky. It seals itself down to the roof deck and the roof edging, and stops any kind of water from getting in behind the roofing. And I just wanted to point out, I guess I had noticed this before, but required by code at Eaves in colder zone. And if we look over here at the map of North America, A is the colder zone. Well, we're right about here in British Columbia. So for the guys around my area who aren't using this stuff, and I know there's a lot of yous, that should tell you something. And also, it's written there in both official languages, so there's no real excuse. So this is just what everything looks like now that we have the roofing has been removed, the underlayment has been removed, and it's very obvious. This is where all the leaking has been happening. You can see the water staining, a little bit of rotten edge on this plywood. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that too much, because ultimately the edge of that plywood has nothing to do with whether this leaks or not. You can see this is the really bad leak here. This is where the water's going in. My finger is on top of the sheeting for this wall, so all the water that goes back there is actually going straight in the house. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ice and water shield, we're going to put it down on this deck, but first we're going to use some of this drip edge that I picked up down at Roof Center. And this is actually made for a window to go on this way. Well, you can't see that, but we're going to flip it upside down and put it on this way. And I'm going to tell you why. So this is the original drip edge right here, and you can sort of see this one's quite small compared to this new one that I got. And if we come over here and look, you can tell that that is not cutting the mustard. I can still shove my hand inside this gap between this gutter and this drip edge. So the new wider drip edge, this is much wider here. This is going to cover that whole gap, and then on top of the drip edge we put down the ice and water shield, and that is all you really need to do to seal that leak. You can even see here, I mean, I cut out layers and layers of this paper. I don't know why there are so many layers of paper here. All I really needed was one layer. This right here would have solved all the problems. So I'm gonna get to work on putting this all back together, and see how it goes from there. So just a quick look at the metal edging before we get everything covered up. Basically, you can see now, once this is installed down, we have completely covered the gap between the gutter and the roof with this extra wide material. And I like to put a nice overlap here, and that way any kind of water, I noticed the original way this was put in, this wasn't overlapped very well. And well, you can see this water staining and everything else. And then just a little thing I really like to do is put this little tab here, bend a little tab, And then when this covers over, now we don't have a big gap here in the back, so there's nowhere for water to run. Again, in behind the gutter. And just because this is a special situation, I don't know if you can see that, there's a tiny little hole where the two pieces of metal join together. And I think just because of the sensitiveness, whatever you want to call it, of this area, I'm going to just put a little dab of sealant here, just to be really safe. Hopefully make sure that no more water can get in there. So that is how the metal edging is done. And here's a look at the more or less finished product. You can see I've applied the ice and water shield. Made sure to get a good 6-inch overlap between the paper and the ice shield. Normally this is not something I would ever do, cutting a valley somewhere and trying to tie new stuff and old stuff in a valley. Normally I'd like to just replace the whole thing, but in this case, I know the homeowner is looking for sort of the most cost-effective solution, and the thing that we really care about is just to make sure that this never ever leaks again. So now we've got this ice shield here, is sealed down, or is about to be sealed down to this metal. Actually, it's already doing a pretty good job. Listen to that. I can't even peel it up, and the sun's barely even been out. Now, because I want to make 100% sure that when I walk away from here, this is never ever going to leak again, I'm going to take this heat gun, I'm going to flick it on low, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of heat to the edge and seal it down really, really good, because it is calling for rain in the next few days. And I just want to make sure 100% when I walk away from here that this is never ever going to leak again. So here we're going to put that on low and basically just try to imitate what the sun would be doing. Just heating it up, pressing it down. Maybe I should switch hands for this. Heat it up, press it down. Lose the heat gun over the side of the roof, and now you can see this is sealed. This is 100%. There is no way water is ever getting in there again. So I'm just going to go along the edge here where I've applied the ice and water and get that all sealed down. And we're going to nail all our strapping back down, put the tiles back on, and of course the valley metal. And I'm hoping, actually I'm 150% confident, this will never leak again. And here's just a quick shot of everything put back together. Got some new tiles cut where they were broken, and everything's sealed up and good to go. So I guess there's two lessons to be learned from here. One is, put fucking ice and water on your eaves and up your valleys, boys, and we won't have problems like this in the future. Or don't, and I'll still have a job and make a ton of money fixing your mistakes. That's fine too. The second lesson is here, if you drop your heat gun down onto a concrete pad, it's gonna break. That's it. That's all I got.